Hi guys, it's Weeded, and this is continuing with my studio prep time. I need to make some more, I'm turning down my griddle here that's got some encaustic medium on it. I need to make some encaustic medium, and I need to also make some cold wax. So both of them, the cold wax and the encaustic medium, start off the same. And basically that is 1 ounce of damar resin to 8 ounces of beeswax. So I'm trying to get I'm trying to get my scales to zero out here, and it's not real happy, but I think I can work with it. So I started it, I put the container on, and now I need to put in 1 ounce of, because I finally got it to zero, varnish. Little over. Take that out. Okay, I've got right at 1 ounce. So I'm going to take that and put it in the crock pot, which I have over to the side here. And then I'm going to measure out, and I need to zero this again, 8 ounces of clarified beeswax. So I've got the beeswax pellets right here. And that was damar resin right there. So that's what I'm using. And truthfully, I have 2 crock pots, and I will be doing the same in each one. Now, in one of them, I'll be doing 1 ounce of damar varnish, and then I'll put in 8 ounces of beeswax. Let me zero that out. And this is by weight, so I'm using just an old scale. Let's see, getting close. Oh, there we go. Okay, now that is roughly 8 ounces of beeswax. I am not going to put all of this in at one time. It takes a higher temperature to melt the damar varnish. So I'm going to put just a little beeswax in there to create a bit of a liquid at the bottom, and then I'm going to let the damar varnish melt in this crock pot. And this one I'm going to end up, let's say I'll put about that much in. I will plug it up and let it melt. And I will come back and show you what it looks like when it's melting. So this one is actually going to end up being cold wax, because once this melts, I'm then going to add Gamsol, equal amount of Gamsol to encaustic medium. I'm making the encaustic medium right now, and then let that sit, and when it cools I should have cold wax. So I'm going to go plug this one up, and I'll be right back for the next crock pot, which I'm going to make a full thing of encaustic medium, which is going to be 2 ounces of damar varnish and 16 ounces of beeswax. Okay, so here is my second little crock pot, and I need to move that to the side. I also need to move this beeswax out of the way. There we go. And doing this can save a lot of money, because not only if you can make your own encaustic medium, then you can mix pigments with your encaustic medium and make your own paint as well. So although I will say I'm a glutton for the encaustic paint that you can buy. They're just so rich and so nice, but still I do like to make some of my own pigments. Okay, so here we go again, and this time I want 2 ounces as soon as I get this thing to zero out. So yeah, this scale is so old. Now, 2 ounces. That's good. Okay, put that in the crock pot, and then I am going to want 16 ounces of beeswax. And once you use anything for art, baking pans, ovens, crock pots, anything like that, please don't use it for food. Okay, that's just too many chemicals, and I tend to play it on the safe side, so I don't mix. These crock pots are dedicated. One is for cold wax, one is for encaustic medium, and I hope this, I love these measuring cups. They're also strictly art measuring cups. I usually use them to do kind of what I'm doing here, measure ingredients, and I can get 16 ounces in this measuring cup. I have to get a little creative with it, but I love the pour spouts. I use it with some soap and candles. Okay, that is 16 ounces, 1 pound. So I will end up adding all of this into the crock pot, but not at first. At first I'm just going to put a little bit in. Okay. There. That will create a bit of fluid at the bottom of the crock pot and help the damar resin to liquefy. So I will be back. This one is my encaustic medium one. I'm going to take both of these to the kitchen, or the other one's already in the kitchen, and then I'll show you what this looks like when it's done. And really and truly, just I leave it in the crock pot. Okay, I needed to make a new batch, cleaned everything out, but I leave it in the crock pot. I don't ever take it out, and I just hook up my crock pot when I am ready. I keep it on low. Actually, sometimes I turn it over on warm. I get impatient. Turn it on low to heat it up, kick it over to warm, and then I've just got a crock pot full of encaustic varnish, so encaustic medium, so that works out very well. Alright, I will be back. Okay, I wanted to show you what the damar varnish and a little bit of beeswax, and you can see there are some impurities. I'll fish some of those out, but then I may end up doing some straining, but I'll get those out, and this is what it looks like when it's melted. And I will now add the beeswax to it after I get rid of the damar varnish, excuse me, the impurities. And I can't see them in the black. Yes, I can. That's my black crock pot. You really can't see anything when the light hits it just right. You can. Damar varnish is smelly, so this is best done in a well-ventilated area. So I'm going to add the beeswax after I get that stuff out, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Bye. Hi guys, it's Weedy, and I wanted to share with you what the encaustic medium looks like in the crock pot. And there it is. I've got a little loose piece right there, but I just leave it in the crock pot, when I get ready to do encaustic work, I plug it in and let it go, because the temperature this is not a variable temperature crock pot. Doesn't need to be, but it's just right for melting the wax, keeping it at the right temperature without it going too hot. It doesn't smoke or anything. And the one thing I would that I remembered too late, and I don't want y'all to do this, when you're making an encaustic medium, you put the damar varnish resin in the base of the crock pot, add a little bit of beeswax, and then stir when it starts melting the resin. The resin will collect on the bottom of the crock pot, and you need to stir and work it in. And it's not a lot of stirring. You stir it, let it melt, stir, let it melt some more. I end up using 2 spoons because it is resin, so it is sticky. And then once you've got it fairly well melted and mixed in with that little bit of beeswax you added, you can go ahead and add the rest of your beeswax. I wasn't thinking when I did it yesterday, and I dumped in all of the beeswax before I made sure my resin was melted, so when I was stirring, because it is sticky, I would end up splashing myself with the hot melted wax. And as you can see from this is the hand that I kept splashing, and it didn't burn or anything, but it wasn't fun either. So just make sure that, again, stir that varnish and really work it. You have to scrape the bottom of the crock pot. But then I've got this nice huge tub of encaustic medium. So that's it for how to make your own encaustic medium. It's also, when you make a lot like this, you can then melt it and add your own pigments and make paint, which is definitely a big savings. I love encaustic paint. I do buy it, but I also make some. So there you go. I hope this helped. Bye-bye.